Colombia, a land of untold beauty and diverse cultures, long famous for its world-prized coffee, tobacco, and cumbia music, has now become the world's #1 producer and exporter of cocaine. Despite 30 years of U.S.-led war on drugs and the fall of flamboyant drug lord Pablo Escobar, the traffic seems healthier than ever, with tens of millions of users and hundreds of billions of dollars of profit. No longer imported from Peru and Bolivia, coca leaves, the primary ingredient of cocaine, are now homegrown in practically all parts of Colombia. Hundreds of thousands of farmers, driven to poverty by the international agribusiness competition, have been hired by the traffickers.
To respond to that, the United States government, working with the Colombian government, has developed what we see as an integral strategy to try to reduce production of cocaine and trafficking in cocaine from Colombia. We believe is essential, the alternative development to give growers of coca, the small growers, the small traditional growers of coca, a genuine economic alternative, an alternative that's environmentally sound as well as economically viable.
If you continue to grow coca or opium poppy, your crop will be destroyed and you will risk going to jail. On the other hand, if you are willing to sign a pact with the Colombian government and its principal implementing agency, Plante, we can give you support and assistance that will allow you to live a decent life and to maintain your family.
La seguridad alimentaria de 2 millones de pesos es
2 million pesos, $950. That's not enough to live. Believe me, a family of 5 cannot survive 1 year on $950. Not to mention that they have to live not just 1 year, but their whole life. What is provided is very little. For that reason, we think it will be very difficult for the farmers to stop growing coca if the government doesn't give them proper assistance.
No se generaron todas las propuestas de desarrollo que se debiesen haber generado en torno a este programa.
Queremos nosotros y estamos en la posesión, pero que el gobierno nos cumpla lo que nosotros hemos firmado.
Que nosotros los campesinos queremos que el pacto social sea un éxito, queremos que haya inversiones nosotros, queremos que nos den un modo de vida, porque de lo contrario, así como vamos, nos vamos a morir de hambre todos.
Si no hay cumplimiento hasta diciembre que tienen estos convenios, al campesino le sobra fuerzas para seguir cultivando y sembrando más coca.
Evidentemente, los campesinos
the peasants are the unwilling participants in this process. Unwilling in the sense that they live in abandoned areas, areas where there are no signs of a state, when there is no economic opportunities other than growing coca, and that's what they live off.
It makes a lot of economic sense for campesinos to grow coca, because they can convert coca into coca paste on their farm in a small crude lab. And the middlemen, the traffickers, will come to the farm or to the nearest small town, and they will buy the coca paste and pay them cash and take it away for them. Now, the heart of U.S. policy requires that these campesinos grow hundreds of kilos of so-called legal crops instead.
Tenemos que pensar en el mercadeo, de que quién nos va a comprar.
We have to think in terms of the market. Who is going to buy the produce we make on our farms? Because if we produce something that nobody wants to buy, then it would be the same thing as not having to produce in the first place.
But the problem is, we're asking these people to grow, hundreds of kilos of yucca and plantains and pineapples and other things that they have to haul to transport on vehicles they don't have, on roads that don't exist, to sell in markets, both internal and export, they don't have access to, and to compete against an international global economy, international agribusiness, against which they don't stand a chance. So this is not a formula for success in terms of alternative development.
Funding for so-called alternative development accounts for less than 20% of President Clinton's original $1.3 billion Plan Colombia package, and even less in President Bush's revised $2 billion Andean Initiative plan. Instead, the core of the U.S. plan rests on spraying defoliant over coca cultures to destroy them, mostly in the south of Colombia.
The Colombian government, supported by the United States government, does use eradication and aerial fumigation as a drug eradication process.
From December 2000 to the 22nd of January, they started the fumigations in 5 municipalities of the Putumayo. And according to the information we were given by the Colombian government and also by the U.S., in this month and a half of fumigations, 74,000 acres were fumigated, and the result was that a satellite picture taken 1 month later showed that the coca production had actually increased.
The fact is that in this last year, coca production has gone up 11%. It hasn't gone down, it's gone up 11%. So it's not working.
Focusing on the drug producer is a recipe for failure for reasons that you should have learned in Economics 101. Look, a peasant in Putumayo or someplace like that makes the coca paste, can sell a kilo of coca paste for about $1,000. Now that kilo of coca paste gets turned into cocaine that's sold on U.S. streets gram for gram for more than $100,000, but let's say $100,000. Now imagine that a U.S. spray program does such a good job that the price of coca paste triples to $3,000. All you've done is you've reduced the profit of the middleman from $99,000 to $97,000. That is not success by any measure.
We're a simple people in the United States. We like simple formulas.